Hello everyone, I'm Özhan. I'm working as a software technology trainer and developer at Veri Park, Izmir, Turkey. At the same time, I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and a Microsoft certified solution developer. And today we're going to talking about Microsoft Mssql Server with database. Let's start. But before we start, we organized for this training schedule 4 weeks, and today we are going to talking about normalization, key type relations, data manipulation between insert, delete, update. And the second, third, and fourth week you can find our LinkedIn or social media accounts, Data Science Earth. And for this schedule, if you wanna update some topics or something like that, you can access our, you can mail it to us. That's it. And let's start with database. What is database? First of all, I wanna say something. Inside of the Excel document, exactly not a database, and looking a little bit table, and also cell structure, looking a little bit with kind of database table, but absolutely not a database. Database is a collection of structured information or data stored electronically in a computer system. The database is controlled by a data management system. For example, today, our database system inside of the Mssql server. At the same time, our management application is SQL Server Management Studio. If you want to create new database for new project, you have to care about some rules. And all rules we are saying of them normalization. Normalization is coming from kind of mathematical calculations. And what exactly normalization? Normalization is a database design technique that reduces data redundancy and eliminates undesirable characteristics like insertion, update, deletion, anomalies. And usually we are kind of you can find a lot of information inside of your database. At the same time, those informations may be redundant data or something like that. We don't want a redundant data in our database table. Normalization rules basically divides larger tables or larger information sets into smaller tables and links them using with relationships. The major purpose of the normalization in SQL is to eliminate redundant or repetitive data and ensure that it is stored logically. When you create a normalization in your database, you have to carry about 7 different rules. But the first, second, third normal form, usually we are using inside of our project. BCNF, fourth, fifth, and sixth NF, usually we are not using. Only we are using first 3 rules. Let's start it with first of them. Inside of the normalization, first normal form is each table cell should contain a single value. You cannot redundant inside of the different values or something like that. Only one line should be inside of the one line. It must be uniquely. Each record needs to be unique. If you see your redundant data or something like that, probably redundant data is you're gonna believe performance problem a couple months or a couple years ago. It depends your size of data. And the second of normal form, you must be in first normal form. Second of them, single column primary key. And usually we are talking about inside of Turkish Republic, what's your ID number, what's your ID number or something like that. Why we're asking your ID number? Because our ID number represented to all information about us. At the same time, our ID number unique. and we make sure it's unique, and you cannot find the represented data in your ID or something like that, but the ID is absolutely unique. Because of this situation, if you want to create your database table, you must have a primary key or something like that. We're going to see the primary key a couple pages later. Third normal form is you must have the second normal form, all normal form connected to each other. Has no transitive functional dependencies. It means there is a must-be relationship between your tables, but your tables does not have to be dependent in each other. You can insert independently data. You can update your data independently, different than other tables. If you created a third normal form, first normal form, second normal form, and the third normal form, if you have three of them, there's no problem for you or your project database or something like that. But if you want to apply your normal form on your database table project, you have to care about the key types. You can find 5 different key types in our page, but the primary key and foreign key usually we are using in our project. Candidate key, compound key, surrogate key, that's a little bit less important than primary key and foreign key. Let's start with primary key. A couple pages ago we said about unique key inside of the second normal form. The primary key constraint uniquely identifies each record in a table. The primary keys must contain unique values. You can use whatever you want variable types, it doesn't matter, but cannot contain null values. And please do not forget, it must be unique. A table can have only one primary key, and sometimes we are living some exceptional situations, but almost as always, you have only one primary key and a table, and this primary key can consist of single or multiple columns or fields, it doesn't matter. This purpose of this primary key represent of the different columns on all of them. For example, you can see in our presentation there is an easy database table. You can see the 4 different columns: student ID, first name, last name, and the course ID. Student ID we detected already as a primary key, and this primary key, and you can see the L302345. And if you want to check the other ID types or ID values, you cannot see the same ID values again. Especially in this student ID represent first name, last name, and course ID. If someone said that to us, L302345 IDs, who is the student, we can say this student first name is Jim, last name is Block, and the course ID blah 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 or something like that. And the student ID meaning, I'm saying again, L302345 representing Jim Block student. Why we need to this? Because this primary key is unique. First name maybe redundancy, last name redundancy, course ID of course redundancy, but the IDs must be unique. Okay, let's continue. If you have a primary key, you need a foreign key in a different table. Foreign key constraint is used to prevent actions that will destroy links between tables. Foreign key is field, or maybe we can say collection of all fields in one table, that refers to primary key in another table. The table with foreign key is called the child table, and the table with primary keys is the reference to our parent table. You have one table, and at the same time you have a different table. Inside of this table, there is a primary key, and another table has a different key type, is a foreign key. This table has primary key, this table has foreign key, connected to each other between the same key type, at the same time, same key value. Okay, let's see in our example. You can see there is our student ID, first name, last name. This student ID representing is a Jim Black. Okay, at the same time you are seeing the course ID. It's meaning inside of somewhere, and that there is a different course table. Let's see. There is a course ID, course name. Together we are saying that to one course table. In here, course ID, you can see this course ID linked to each other. This is a foreign key. At the same time, primary key and different table connected to each other between this key. And the primary key and this in here, course ID, primary key. In this table, course ID, foreign key. Inside of here, this course ID representing this student has C002 class. We can find the C002 class competing in here. As a result of this, we can say Jim Black has competing class, okay, connected to each other. Primary key and foreign key. Inside of your project, if all your tables connected to each other between kind of a relationship, and we have to say this relationship kind of has a variety. Let's look at that one. There is not only one-to-one relationship or one-to-many or many-to-many. We have 3 different type relationships, and you need to use almost every relationship in your database project because of your all tables must be connected to each other. One-to-one relationship on database. In a one-to-one relationship, one record in a table is associated with one and only one record in another table. Let's give an example. Let's see. There is a student's table. At the same time, there is a contact info table. Student ID, last name, and first name are another fields inside of the student's table. Student ID, city, and phone are columns inside of the contact info table. Inside of the student's table, student ID connected to contact info table inside of the student ID. In a school database, each student has only one student ID, and each student is assigned to only one person. It means this one-line information connected to only one student has only one-line contact info inside of contact info tables. Okay, that's the easiest one, I think, inside of all relationships. What about one-to-many? In a one-to-many relationship, one record in a table can be associated with the one or more records in another table. For example, especially inside of the pandemic days, e-commerce shopping rate seriously raising up. Let's see. There's a customer table, customer ID, name, surname, doesn't matter. And the one customer can have a lot of orders inside of the orders table. Each customer can have many sales orders connected to only one customer. That's it, okay? And we are saying to this relationship, one-to-many. Another of them, and this many-to-many relationship, more complicated than one-to-one and one-to-many. A many-to-many relationship occurs when multiple records in a table are associated with multiple records in another table. But because of the situation, we have to create another join table. Let's see in our example. This is our students table. Student ID, last name, and first name. We are looking the class table, class ID, title, description. I am looking the class table. There is no information about student. I'm looking the students table. There is no information about the classes. You know why? Because between students and classes, students can select various classes and classes can be selected by many students. Because of the situation, we need to join table. Purpose of the join table, they have to store student ID at the same time. Join table have to store class ID. Because of this result, we can see the student ID inside of the enrollments table. We can see the classes ID inside of the enrollments table. Okay? As we already said, students can select various classes, and the classes can be selected to many of the students. Okay? One-to-many relationship between students and classes. But the enrollments table, join table, and there is no different information than IDs inside of the enrollments tables. And if you need the detailed informations, you have to connect it to students table or you have to connect it to classes table. Okay, that's it. At that moment, demo time, we are using a certain language scale. End of our presentation, I'm gonna take the kind of questions. Right now, I'm closing the presentation. And see, these are Microsoft Mssql. And I'm using that one. And this is the enterprise version. And you can, if you want to using that one, you have to get a license. But at the same time, you can find the free version. And we are saying to Microsoft SQL Server Express Edition. First, you have to install your SQL Server. Then you have to install Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. You can connect it with there, and you have to select your server type. Usually, we are using the database engine, and this is my server name. You can find a lot of server name inside of here. I'm using the Mssql Server 1 for this class. There's two different authentication type. Actually, five different types, but usually we are using Windows authentication or SQL Server authentication. Windows authentication is meaning who is opening this computer at the same time can access the SQL Server. If you are using the SQL Server authentication, you need a login username, and also you need right here the password. SA meaning the system administrator. System administrator has all authentication and authorization access to SQL Server, and I'm writing my password in here. Of course, I'm not saying my password. Connected, and we connected. Left of the window, there is an Object Explorer. You can find everything about your SQL Server, but there is a little bit details. Extended databases. You can find your databases. If you have access, of course, you can see. But if you don't have any access, you can see inside of here. I have all access because I'm a system administrator at that moment. I'm sorry, I need to drink water. Usually we are gonna using the inside of the databases tab. At that moment, I want to create some database. Right click on the database tab. I'm selecting the new database, then we are gonna saying window in here. I'm gonna give the some name, data science earth first week. I'm giving that name, and there is a, you can see our initial size. Our initial size is 8 megabyte, and 8 megabyte seriously high size for a database, and the auto growth with 64 megabyte. And also you can set the unlimited, but I'm not suggest that one. Limitation always better than the unlimited version. And I'm saying that okay, then our creating database DC first week in here. We need to create some tables. But first of all, I want to say something. And inside of this page, I'm closing that one. How could open it? You can see there's a new query tab. I click that one. Then oops, jumped another screen. Oh, frozen my window. Give me a sec, please. Let's start coming to SQL Server 2016. Do not recover. Cancel. Connect it one more time. Okay, everything is looking good. But give me a sec, please. Okay, I said new query. And right now I'm gonna create a table. We can write with the query, and also we can write with the not we can write inside of the DC first week, right click, new table. We can use the follow up this user interface, but I'm rather to usually inside of the query table, create table. I'm saying employee. Okay, I'm opening my parentheses, and here I'm writing in here ID. I'm giving it some type integer. It must be a primary key because I want to be unique side. Identity, I'm opening the parentheses, starting with 1 and the increment 1 by 1. Okay, let's see. I'm giving a name. Type is a envarchar meaning text or string type. I'm writing here surname. '50 meaning the limitation of the character of name at the same feature on the surname column. Okay, surname. Right now I'm creating the employee table. You can find the commands completed successfully. I'm refreshing the tables. Oops, there's some connection problem. Oh no, I have to set DC first week. Okay, I'm running one more time, refreshing the table. See, there's an employee table. If you want to see the feature of this table, right click and you can see the design. You can find that there's a yellow key meaning it's a ID, type is integer, name varchar, surname is varchar, and there is identity specification. Is identity? Yes. Is identity meaning has a primary key or not for this table? Identity increment? Yes, it's meaning starting by 1 and the increment by 1. That's it. Okay, this is our employee. For example, we need to create another table because I'm trying to give you some information about that one. I'm creating another table. At that moment, I want to create from menu. I'm giving ID, integer, right click on this line, and I am setting it as a primary key. In here, for example, phone, we are using the varchar, and also address, we are using the varchar or context as better. I want to save this table using with Control S. I'm giving some name, and I'm saying the contact table, and I said okay. That was good. And our first table is employee. Our another table is contact table. And between two of them, probably we are going to using the one-to-one relationship. Okay, let's see another table I'm creating. For this table, I'm giving some line information. I set it from primary key, and I'm saying pushing the F4 button. In here, I'm selecting the ID. This is an auto increment. Oh, we forgot the contact table auto increment. Yes, we need to select ID and Control C. Okay, that was good. Right now, I'm writing the employee ID meaning foreign key. Okay, and for example, order name and varchar 50. Okay, I'm setting Control S. I'm writing here order. Okay, looking good. Let's see. I refresh it, and I'm seeing the three different table. Until here, I'm gonna creating some relationship. Inside of the database diagrams, I'm clicking the right click, new database diagram, and there's a default message. This database doesn't have a one or more support object, blah blah blah. Something do you wish create them? I wanna say yes. Until this time, how many table you created it, you can see here. I'm pushing the shift and click the order, selected all of them. I'm clicking the add, close that one. Okay, let's see. For example, there is an employee table and there is a contact table, and one employee ID connected to only one line. One ID connected to only one ID. Let's see. I'm pushing that one, and I am going to there and dropping in here. And it means primary key table, employee ID, foreign key table, contact ID. And I said, okay. Click one more time, okay? If you wanna see the two different yellow key, it means one-to-one relationship between employee table at the same time contact tables, okay? Let's see, how about order? At the same time, one-to-one relationship meanings if you write or if you insert one line inside of the employee, you have to insert contact table for one line, okay? And it should be equals to each other, okay? Let's continue. Inside of the employee, I'm selecting the ID, I'm coming to here, and on employee ID, I am dropping. I said okay, everything is fine, but there is a little bit difference. If you wanna close to your display, you can see that one side of this line, you can see the yellow key. Another line, you can see the infinite symbol. Yellow key, infinite symbol. It means one-to-many relationship. Okay? There is no suspicious, there is no hesitation. Absolutely one side and infinite side between employee and order table. Employee and contact table connected to each other between connected to each other one-to-one relationship. Okay? As we said before, if you want to insert in here, you have to insert contact information of employee. If you want to insert employee table, you don't have to insert order table some line. You don't have to do that because employee ID in here foreign key. Okay? Let's continue. At this time, we have to create another table. We're gonna give some example about many-to-many relationship, my friends. If you want to create a table, you can create it in here. Right click, new table. Firstly, you have to give some name. I'm giving some name, project, and I'm giving name, integer. Right click, set primary key. I'm pushing on my keyboard F4. Sorry, one more time. Yes, F4, and I'm selected the ID, and I did auto increment starting with 1 and increasing 1 by 1, and I'm writing here project main and archer. Okay, that is looking good. Right click, table view, and column names. See, easy one. But in our company, some employees working in various and many different projects. Inside of some projects, a lot of employees can work on it. Okay, because of the situation, employee and project table has a many-to-many relationship. I'm repeating one more time. Some employees are working very different projects inside of in our company. In some project has a lot of different employees at the same time. Because of the situation, there is a many-to-many relationship between employee table and project table. But I'm looking the employee table. There is no any information about project. I am looking the project table. There is no any information about the employee. Because of the situation, we need to create join table. Okay, right click the empty somewhere, new table, and I'm giving some name, emp_project, employee project table. I'm giving some ID, integer, primary key, at the same time, auto increment identity, and here emp ID, it must be integer because of employee ID integer in this table. I'm writing here project ID, type must be integer because of the this ID integer. Okay, that was good. Right click, table view, column names, I am selecting this ID, and inside of the EMP project, EMP ID. Okay, please be careful in here. This point is seriously important for everyone. I said okay, that was good. Inside of the project side, I am selected the yellow key. I am getting from the project table. Because of this, inside of the EMP project table, I dropping the project ID. Okay. See, in our database, table design completed right now. No big deal, but looking a little bit complicated. If you wanna organize it, right click and arrange tables. If you wanna click this, Özhan server organized for you. Project, EMP project, employee, contact, and order. Let's see one more time in our relationship for our database. Between employee and contact, there is a one-to-one relationship because one employee has only one contact information in our company. Between employee and order, there is a one-to-many relationship because our employee has a lot of orders information inside of this table. Because of the situation, primary key ID in here acting like a foreign key. Looking good. Between the project and employee, there is a join table because there is a many-to-many relationship. In here, project ID, project name, that was good, but there is no any information about employee. Inside of the here employee, there is no any project information. Because of the situation, we need to add some join table. We are getting the project ID in here and the dropping in EMP project ID like that. We are getting the employee ID from employee table and dropping the employee EMP ID. Okay, we completed the connected successfully with it, but there is a little but important information for you. You are saying the tab, we created it already because we need it. If you wanna see the asterisk in your tab, it's meaning you didn't save until this time. Okay, if you wanna save it, Control and S, pushing it together. Default name diagram _0. Okay, that's fine for me. I said okay, and it means if you wanna save this, probably you have to touch the those tables, affected those tables. There's no problem for me. I'm saying yes. Then all of them 7 at the same time. Okay, only our create page didn't save. There is a little bit difference. This is diagram 0 database object. This is our order table database object. This is our contact table database object. This is our employee table database object. Why SQL Server didn't save this page? Because this page in our query editor. Okay. Oh, there is a question. How to join table match relationship between employees table and the project table? Okay, let's see it together. Diagram 0. Employee table and the project table. Okay, let's do it one more time. I'm deleting this relationship. Yes. I'm deleting this relationship. Yes. Okay. Let's see. As we said before, inside of our company, some employee can work different projects at the same time. Inside of some project has a different employee at the same time. Okay? But inside of the employee table, there is no any information about project. ID, employee name, employee surname. Let's check the project table. Project ID, project name. See, each table has a different fields, but there is no some point connected to each other. Because of this situation, we have to create EMP project table. Okay, that one. This is our kind of bridge, kind of contact point. We are saying that table or join table. I'm choosing the ID. See, I'm pushing the left click of my mouse button. I'm drawing inside of the EMP project. I am drawing the EMP ID. Primary key, foreign key. Are you sure that one? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. And some information about our relationship. Okay, thank you very much. I said okay. Let's do it one more time for project. I'm selecting the ID. Okay, pushing the left click of the mouse. I'm catching off the ID and I'm dragging it in here on project ID. I said okay, okay. At this time, there is we completed the relationship between employee and project. Thanks to EMP project join table. Okay, we cannot do directly employee and project. We cannot do it directly connected to each other because we need to join table because of our relationship type. In this example, between employee and project, our relationship type many-to-many. Because of the situation, we need to EMP project join table. I'm catching the this ID like that. I'm drawing the EMP ID. I'm catching the project ID, yes, like that. I can click and arrange tables. Oh, different view right now. At the same time, you can see let's organize it like that. Some information about your relationship. Right click on a space somewhere and then show relationship labels. When I click that one, you can see the relationship names. You want to see the detail between two different tables. For example, let's look at contact and employee. Right click of that one and properties. There is a properties window, and if you are open the tables and columns, foreign key column, primary key table, primary key column, you can see the details. Okay, that's it. And our participant said it. Okay, thank you. If you have any questions, friends, you can write on side of the comments tab. I'm gonna checking that at the same time. Okay, we are saying the one more time. Yes, yes. Okay, in here there is our employee table. What about flights? Okay, sorry, what about I'm talking about insert. I'm really sorry, I said flight. I'm gonna show the insert statement right now. Insert the command into, and you have to write here your table name. Okay, and that's a double dash, meaning your command line. Command line does not affect anything. Only if you are forgetting something, or if you wanna remember something, you are writing like a command. Okay, no big deal. Open a parenthesis and you are writing your column name and surname, for example. Close parenthesis, values. I'm writing here, for example, test name, comma, test surname. Okay, this is the example. Right now I'm gonna writing the real some command. Insert into our table name employee, and it affected the name and surname column. Values, for example, Diary. Sorry, Irving, and he's my favorite basketball player. Let's see, there's an important detail in here. There's a different command, and there's another command, query line. If you wanna running these commands, you can push the F5. But if you are pushing the F5 immediately inside of this editor, you can you already select everything like that. If you wanna running only one line, you have to select one line. Okay, then execute it. And the shortcut of F5, I'm using usually F5. It doesn't matter right now. One row is affected. Okay, let's see. Right click on employee and select tab 1000 rows. We are seeing the Cairo link. Okay, let's do that one more time. For example, insert into employee name and surname. We'll use call Jordan. Okay, let's see. Right now I'm pushing the button. One row is affected. Right click, select up 1000 rows. We are seeing the Kyrie Irving and Michael Jordan. Okay, but there is a kind of information about that one. There is an ID line starting with 1 and rising up one by one. Another ID is 2. Because we did already, we selected the primary key for this column. We give the name ID and starting with 1 and increasing one by one. Because of the situation, it's acting rising up one by one. Okay, that was good. Let's do it. We can give some contact information. I'm gonna checking the phone and address and virtual and text. Okay, that was good. Phone address. Virtual. I don't wanna forget data type and text. Insert into contact phone and address. We'll use address is New Jersey. Contact phone address. I click that one row is affected. Let's check it out. Okay, New Jersey, we could insert it, and it means ID is 1. It means Kyrie Irving phone number, Kyrie Irving address. Okay, because this ID connected to, not that one, that one. This is ID number 1. This is ID number 1. It means 234 56 78 phone number and New Jersey address connected to Kyrie Irving, because ID number 1, ID number 1. Okay, it means one-to-one relationship between two of them. Okay, that was good. Let's insert some orders for Kyrie Irving. Employee ID and order name. I want to close that one and that one, that one. See here. I don't have to insert any ID because there's a primary key and we didn't give the allow now. Employee 1 and the order name basketball shoes. Oops, we forgot the column names. Employee ID, comma, order name, gear values. Okay, looking good. What is the problem in here? I want to insert it another way. Right click on order, edit up. Let's see, 1 and basketball shoes. Okay, completed successfully. Okay, another order. Another or something like that. It doesn't matter. Okay, that was good. Let's see. I'm opening the C ID 1 Kyrie Irving and the Kyrie Irving order name basketball shoes, Kyrie Irving order name car. Two of them Kyrie Irving orders, and the two of them has a Kyrie Irving IDs, and it showed to us connected to it. There is a one-to-many relationship between employee and order. Okay, let's see, we have a question. If you write a not existed variable in the table, it can be created or get error. That was a good question. Thank you very much, Metin Genç. Let's look at that one. For example, I want to write here for. Okay, I'm writing here us. When I try to insert that one, you can see that there is a error window, and this window sending to me actually I want to say quickly, there is a kind of relationship between employee and order table, and there is no for number ID inside of the employee table. Because of the situation, we are getting an error. Okay. Okay, we answered the Metin Genç question. That was good. Okay, we showed the insert query, and right now I'm going to show you update query, then after delete query. Firstly, I'm going to start with update example. There's kind of update statement, table name, for example, employee, and the set. I'm going to change the name. For example, Özhan. Okay, but please don't forget the where condition. Actually, we're gonna talking about later about where condition. Update employee table, set name Özhan, where ID is equal 1. Okay, the fact that was good. Select asterisk from employee Özhan Irving. See, a couple seconds ago there is a Kyrie Irving, but at the moment Özhan Irving, we changed the name using with the update query. That was good. And we're gonna talk about later. I'm sorry. We're gonna talking about later update state. Where condition, and we're gonna talk about later select queries. And that one is the update, and another of them delete. Delete the easiest one, not hard one. For example, I came to here, delete from employee where ID equal to. Okay. One row affected. Let's see. See, Michael Jordan flight. We are not see the anymore Michael Jordan. We deleted it. But still we are seeing the Özhan Irving. That was good. And a delete from provided. Okay, that's it. And give me a sec, please. I'm checking the schedule of for today. If I completed it, I'm gonna ending this. Okay, let's open our presentation. Okay, in first week we talk about normalization, key type, relations, data manipulation, we did insert, we did delete, we did update. Okay, that was good. And okay, we completed it. And do you have any questions? I'm gonna check it for you. I want to ask one more time. Do you have any questions? Everything is looking good, I think. A+1, thank you. Thank you very much. Next week, we are gonna talking about backup and restore DB, select queries, aggregate functions meaning related to use functions, join types, we're gonna connect it to each other, the tables inside of our select queries, and the most important thing, expert result of query to Excel. And Sacerdote Sirena Vasula asking to me how to install SQL Server. You can find a lot of tutorials on Google or YouTube or something like that. That's not a big deal, but when you try to install it, if you leave any problem, you can ask me. There is my, oops. I want to show my I want to share my contact information. Let's see. In here, you can find me in this address. I can help you. It doesn't matter. But as I said before, if you leave any problem, you can find the resolution on YouTube. As I said before, if you leave any problem, you can contact with me. There is my contact information. Okay, Serkan Boyracı said that can we watch it again in YouTube? Yes, of course. Sucharita Sironosula, which software we need to install? Firstly, you need to install SQL Server. Then you have to install SQL Server Management Studio. But before install that one, your operating system must be Windows 10. If you are using Windows 7 or less version, probably you cannot install that one. Utkucan Aslan said, thank you very much. I appreciate that you attended to our class. Doğal Soy Temiz, could you share the slides and source codes from the Google Classroom? Actually, I can share. Actually, I'm planning to share my on GitHub account, but at the same time, I can share this presentation and source code on Google Class. It's no big deal for me. I can do it for you. Any questions? I am waiting. Some comments. Thank you. Okay, let's check. Okay, everything is looking good. And thank you very much. And you attending tonight. Next week, same day, same time, we're going to talk about SQL Server select queries, aggregate functions, export the result of queries to Excel. Is this video available in Google Classroom? Probably yes. Suçer'de Siren Vasula, thank you for your question. It's very interactive. Okay, see you next week. Thank you for everyone.